The producer asked if anyone wanted to get up and sing or speak poetry to calm things down. No one else volunteered, so I said, "Oh." The girl with the golden voice lit up radio and TV screens before streaming was a thing. Petula Clark's charisma and classics like Downtown made her a global star. Behind the music, her life has been a fascinating blend of family, love, and tenacity. At 92, many wonder how she spends her days. She still performs? How's her health after all these years? What's her world today? Explore her journey and current life with us. Start at the beginning. Petula Clark's youth. Petula Clark was born Sally Clark in Ewell, Surrey, England, on November 15, 1932. In Epsom, her parents Doris and Leslie were nurses at Longgrove Hospital. Her Welsh mother and English father were related. Petula has a wonderful origin tale for her odd first name. Her father made it up by humorously mixing Pet and Ola, his past girlfriends. That silly joke made her a music star. Clark grew up in Aberystwyth, Wales, where her grandfather mined coal. At the Collier's Arms in Aberystwyth, she sang for her first audience in 1939. She later recalled living outside London during the Blitz. She described watching aerial fights and escaping with her sister to air raid shelters when sirens blared. She first contacted the BBC at 8. Children were encouraged to record messages from military family members. During air raids, the Criterion Theater was underground and safe for recordings. Children got upset when the sirens went off. A call went out for singers to calm the room. With courage, Petula sung Mighty Like a Rose. Producers recorded her because they liked her voice. She started a lifelong adventure with that single moment. Petula adored singing in the chapel choir and was good at imitating as a child. She imitated Vera Lynn, Carmen Miranda, and Sophie Tucker to entertain family and friends. Her father boosted her performing passion. He went her to see Flora Robson play Mary Stuart in 1944. Petula later said, "I decided to be an actor that night. I wanted to be Ingrid Bergman above everything else." She started singing, not acting. She sang with an orchestra at Bentall's department store in Kingston in 1945. She received a toffee tin for her performance. And gold wristwatch. A career that will never cease developing began then. Initial breakthrough. At 9 years old, Petula made her entertainment debut. She and her father attended a BBC radio program in October 1942 to send a message to her uncles serving overseas. Air raids delayed broadcasts. Producer asked if anyone could perform to calm the audience. Petula performed Mighty Like a Rose again. Response was overwhelming. She received rave reviews and was invited to reprise the song for broadcasters. That moment sparked hundreds of performances. She appeared in 500 wartime shows to cheer up British troops. She became known as the singing sweetheart fast. She even visited the UK with Julie Andrews, another child star. She played for King George VI, Winston Churchill, and Bernard Montgomery due of her fame. Soldiers pinned her images to their tanks for luck. Some called her Britain's Shirley Temple. Her fame grew, opening new doors. Her performance at the Royal Albert Hall in 1944 caught the attention of film director Maurice Elvey. His war drama award for The General starred her as a 12-year-old orphan. Her subsequent films included Strawberry Roan, I Know Where I'm Going, London Town, and Here Come the Huggets. She and Anthony Newley appeared in Vice Versa, directed by Peter Ustinov and starring Alec Guinness. Her skill went beyond film and stage. She appeared in Radio Fun in 1945 as radio's Merry Mimic. Though successful, Petula felt she had played child roles for too long and wanted to move into more serious work. That determination brought her to TV. British variety show Cabaret Cartoons featured her in 1946. Her performance earned her a series. By 1950, hosting Pet's Parlor increased her fame. She met Joe, Mr. Piano Henderson, around this time. She worked with him musically and romantically for 10 years. Henderson introduced Petula to Alan A. Freeman, who founded Polygon Records with her father in 1949. This was Petula's first recording opportunity. Her debut album was Put Your Shoes on, Lucy. Decca duets with Benny Lee helped her find her voice. Petula's career took off in the 1950s. Her UK hits were numerous, featuring The Little Shoemaker in 1954, Mallorca in 1955, Suddenly There's a Valley in 1955, and With All My Heart in 1956, which became an international smash and #1 in Australia. She started her global success here. Polygon Records, which her family owned, was sold to Pi Records Nixa Records in 1955. This meant Petula was signed to Pi, where she stayed until the early 1970s. She also encouraged newcomers. She pushed Joe Henderson to record, and he had 5 chart hits between 1955 and 1960. But Petula kept going. Her aspirations eventually shifted from the UK to Europe, asked to play in Paris Olympia in 1957, renowned French venue. She was anxious, especially with a terrible cold. But her performance was successful and the audience liked her. She met her future husband, Claude Wolfe, at Vogue Records the next day. She fell for him immediately. She agreed to work with him if she signed. That decision affected her job and personal life. Getting European fame. Petula toured France and Belgium with Sacha Distel, her lifelong companion, in 1960. She expanded her European appeal by recording in French, German, Italian, and Spanish. She scored hits in the UK while growing her career in France. In 1961, her song Sailor topped the British charts, followed by Romeo and My Friend the Sea in the top 10. Romeo sold over 1 million copies and earned her a gold record from the RIA. She recorded Yaya Twist, a French version of Lee Dorsey's Yaya. It was the sole female twist hit. Also popular was Chariot, later renamed I Will Follow Him. Petula's German and Italian songs were very popular. Performer of Serge Gainsbourg's songs. It sold well. Few artists received a gift like Petula's. Her song was Un Enfant by Jacques Brel. The song charted in Canada after she sang it live on tour. Her talents went beyond singing. She appeared as herself in the 1963 French crime picture A Couteau Tires and wrote its music. She scored other films, including Entrée Ciel et Mer, 1963, Rêves d'Enfant, 1964, La Bande à Belle, 1966, and Paytan, 1989. Some of these themes appeared on the CD in her own right decades later. Her diverse career made her a global star. The iconic show This Is Your Life recognized her in 1964, 1975, and 1996, something few performers have done. She became one of Europe's most beloved artists by the 1960s after starting in wartime Britain. She would have a famous career for decades. Petula Clark's British career slowed by 1964. She recorded, but the spark was gone. That changed when composer and arranger Tony Hatch visited her in Paris. None of his songs interested her. He then played a few notes of a tune he started in New York City, almost out of desperation. Petula quickly told him she wanted it as her next single if the lyrics matched the captivating song. The tune became Downtown. Neither expected its size. Downtown, released in multiple languages at the end of 1964, surged worldwide. It was a UK hit. France, Netherlands, Germany, Australia, Italy, Japan, India, Rhodesia. When Warner Brothers executive Joe Smith heard it in London, he grabbed US rights immediately. Gamble paid off. Downtown topped the American charts in January 1965, selling over 3 million copies. The song earned Petula her first Grammy for Best Rock and Roll Recording. More importantly, it rebranded her as an international superstar, not simply a European singer. After Downtown, she had a string of songs that made her one of the 1960s most famous singers. Fame, hits, and controversies. After Downtown's popularity, Petula had hit after hit in the US, including Know a Place, My Love, A Sign of the Times, I Couldn't Live Without Your Love, Don't Sleep in the Subway, and This Is My Song. My Love gave her second American #1. She was well known. Downtown was accepted into the Grammy Hall of Fame decades after she earned a Grammy for I Know a Place. Television celebrity accompanied the records. Petula appeared on Ed Sullivan and Dean Martin variety shows. She was on Hullabaloo, Shindig, and Hollywood Palace. She presented and attended musical specials. One show caused a cultural storm for her. NBC requested her headline a 1968 special. Her guests included Harry Belafonte. Together, they sung her anti-war ballad On the Path of Glory. Petula touched Belafonte's arm throughout the performance. A show sponsor worried about Southern backlash over a white woman touching a black man on TV. He demanded a safer scene. But Petula and her show producer husband, Claude Wolfe, refused. They destroyed all other takes and gave the final cut with the moment intact. The presentation aired 4 days after Martin Luther King Jr. was slain, and the sponsor lost his job. It had high ratings and positive reviews. A courageous live television stand is still remembered. It demonstrated Petula was a singer and a lady prepared to stand her ground. On screen and stage, Petula ruled the charts and moved into film and stage in the late 1960s. She received a Golden Globe nomination for her 1968 part in Finian's Rainbow with Fred Astaire. Goodbye, Mr. Chips, another musical, gave her fame the next year with Peter O'Toole. She also performed in famed dinner clubs like the Copacabana in New York and the Coconut Grove in Los Angeles while touring the U.S. She also supported young talent. She introduced French composer Michel Colombier to Herb Alpert in 1968. Colombier gained famous for working with Prince. Richard Carpenter said Petula introduced him and his sister Karen to Alpert. It launched Carpenter's career. Petula befriended several celebrities, including Elvis. She joked about Elvis flirting with her and Karen Carpenter backstage, saying, "He didn't have us exactly, but he had a darn good try." No more conversation about that. She witnessed historical events. When she performed in Montreal in 1969, hecklers didn't like her toggling between English and French. After consulting John Lennon, she joined him and Yoko Ono in their bed in protest. This led to Petula's backup vocals on Lennon's Give Peace a Chance. Her concert, An Evening with Petula, was BBC One's first color broadcast on November 15, 1969. She had many firsts in her career, indicating that she made history. Innovation and longevity. The 1970s offered more music, but her concentration shifted. Her singles included Melody Man, The Song of My Life, and Loving Arms. She also reduced her workload to spend more time with family. Television shows featured her, and she even appeared on The Muppet Show. She returned to the stage in 1981 as Maria Von Trapp in The Sound of Music in London. She considered Petula the finest Maria ever. Petula extended her run to accommodate demand after the show smashed records. She received a Laurence Olivier Award nomination for Best Musical Actress. She sang for All We Know at the Royal Albert Hall in 1983 in memory of her friend Karen Carpenter, who had died 2 days earlier. Petula later played Candida and created Someone Like You song. In 1993, she played Blood Brothers on Broadway. They played Sunset Boulevard's Norma Desmond almost 2,500 times. She kept recording, including Downtown 88, a disco remix that returned her to the UK Top 10. Queen Elizabeth II awarded her a Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 1998 for her work. Even in old age, she kept going. She traveled, released music, and created films. In 2019, she played the Bird Woman in Mary Poppins on the West End, hosted a PBS special, and performed at the Montreux Jazz Festival. She sang I'm Still Here on BBC's Old Friends show in 2023. What about her personal life? Heart issues. Petula Clark dated Joe Mr. Piano Henderson in 1955. There was much conjecture about the relationship. Many anticipate their marriage. With their tight collaboration, audiences saw them as a partnership in music and life. But celebrity was straining their relationship. Henderson apparently did not want to be known as Mr. Petula Clark because Petula's career in France was only beginning. He left eventually. After their breakup, they remained friends and collaborated. The BBC radio series Pet and Mr. Piano was their final collaboration, symbolizing their professional end. Henderson wrote There's Nothing More to Say, a breakup ballad, years later. That chapter ended when Petula featured it on her LP. Life introduced her to entertainment friends. She was a witness at her close friend Charles Aznavour's Las Vegas wedding in 1967. In October 1957, at the Paris Olympia, her career took a major turn. She was accepted to Vogue Records after performing on Musicorama, a live radio show. She met young publicist Claude Wolff there. She was immediately drawn to Wolff and agreed to record in French if he worked with her. Their relationship immediately became romantic. Petula and Claude married in June 1961, starting a family with 2 children and a son. They have 2 grandkids later. Petula found family life meaningful and difficult. She subsequently stated that her busy schedule prevented her from her younger children, and she regretted not being closer to them. She admitted she no longer loved Wolff in 2013. Their history was profound and lasting. Wolff died on March 20th, 2024, ending a significant chapter in her life. Choices, beliefs, home. Petula Clark's personal life reflected her political and belonging views. After Margaret Thatcher became Britain's first female prime minister in 1979, Petula sent her a message of congratulations. She wrote, "Congratulations to you and Britain." Even that year, she appeared at a young conservative gathering. Her opinions were never fixed. She attended a Tony Blair fundraiser in 2002, demonstrating her cross-party support. Her actual sense of belonging was outside politics and in her home. Geneva has been Petula's home since the 1960s. The tranquil settings helped her balance her global performances. She lived with her husband's children and then her grandkids in Geneva, giving her family time. She owned a Chelsea flat and a French Alps house where she loved skiing. Her European but global lifestyle was reflected in these homes. Her family and houses provided stability while her career progressed, but her health would soon present its own obstacles and drama. Healthy, resilient. Petula Clark was active and healthy, although she had medical scares. She told the Daily Mail about her worst health problem as a young woman. She needed an emergency appendix removal at 21. Instead of solving the problem, surgery caused further suffering. Petula remembers her emergency appendix removal at 21. "My pain went from bad to worse. 6 months later, they cut me up again and found internal adhesions around the gangrenous scar tissue. In the emergency, doctors removed part of her intestine. Her parents were frightened. She remembers, "My parents were furious, but I've never had any issues there since." A few faded inches of scar remain. She recovered from the event, which may have caused long-term health problems. Her health has been excellent since then. She described herself as active and vigorous at 89. Living in Geneva kept her fit. She ran upstairs and loved the exercise in her mountain cottage. She laughed that her knees were fine. She said she never took many medicines or vitamins and had only followed the Atkins diet to lose baby weight after giving birth. At 21, Petula Clark grew stronger despite danger. Her faded scar reminded her of the risk, yet she was energetic and resilient afterward. Her story demonstrated her talent and commitment to succeed in her job and health. The tune that altered everything. Downtown by Petula Clark topped U.S. charts in January 1965. The song was about leaving daily stresses in the city and enjoying the lights and bustle. She appeared in Lost, Seinfeld, and Girl Interrupted after winning a Grammy for Best Rock and Roll Recording. But its origins were simple. Petula lived in Paris with her French husband. She was famous in Europe for singing French, Italian, and German. Then London Pie Records' young producer Tony Hatch visited her. He advised her to record in English. She was initially skeptical. She said, "I'm all right, but we need the perfect song." Hatch played a song he was creating at the piano. "I returned with tea and said, 'That's a great tune,'" Petula recalled. "Can you write lyrics that match the music?" "I'll try hard," he said. "Okay, I'll do it." 2 weeks later, they recorded Central London. Both were surprised by the song's explosion. Entering the spotlight. The downtown release was stormy. It became popular in the US, Canada, Australia, and worldwide. Petula said they were unprepared for its success. "We didn't understand we recorded a monster." It became a global hit overnight. Timing was excellent. Petula joined the British invasion after the Beatles opened doors for British performers in America. Television shows like Ed Sullivan soon requested her appearance. Her debut American downtown performance was in New York. She was jet-lagged after arriving from Paris. Nothing was practiced. She entered the stage right away before an orchestra and audience. The orchestra played the song excessively quickly to make it more nerve-wracking, but the audience didn't mind. As Petula remembered, "Everybody cheered when I walked on stage." That moment started her love affair with American viewers, but popularity came with obstacles. She had contracts and a hectic career in Europe. America wanted New York, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. She has 2 little children at home. "My life was complicated, but in a wonderful way," she said. Despite the hardship, she thought travel taught her kids well. They had childhood recollections of experiences most kids never have. Background about the song. Downtown grew beyond a hit record over time. It entered lives. Petula said people often informed her what the song meant to them. Some Vietnam soldiers told her, "Your song gave us courage to continue." She said you never know how a song would affect people when you record it. Each listener interprets it differently. Some used the music to forget their concerns. Others associated it with key memories. This power kept the song alive for decades. Petula said she never imagined such reach. She only wanted to sing good and work. She eventually realized that music might bring hope and comfort beyond the recording studio. Since she had a career in various languages, her music spread wider. She stated, "I am English but fell in love with a Frenchman. So I moved to France. Since I was a French star, I had to sing in French. Italians then demanded I sing in Italian and German. It spread gradually. I enjoy singing Italian. It's opera's language." Singing in multiple languages made her unique and helped her reach global audiences. Alive and singing. Even in old age, Petula Clark performed. She slept aboard a tour bus in her 80s while touring the US. She replied, "I love doing it," when asked why she kept continuing. "It's the genuine cause. My existence without it is impossible to imagine." For her, performing was more than employment. There was joy, connection, and spirituality. She said there's nothing like stage-audience interaction. One sort of communion occurs. It's almost spiritual. She planned her next big moment at 92. She hinted of a London orchestral event with a live audience. She was still excited. 60 years after Downtown altered her life, Petula Clark proved that music and performance never die. Her voice, songs, and tales span generations. Her enthusiasm for singing kept her on stage for decades, even though the world initially knew her for one song. Favorite Petula Clark song? Downtown, or another of her classics? Leave your comments below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing Hollywood stories. See you later.